Hi, and welcome to another installment of Math Basics with Mr. Besh. Today's topic is combining like terms. I'll be walking you through a few examples. Our first example here, you have the math expression. The math expression has three terms, 7z, 5x, and 2z. Your job is to identify which of those terms are similar to one another. And then using the rules we have already studied with integers, you are to combine those terms. Sometimes we have to add them together, other times we subtract. When I look at this expression with the three terms, two of my terms are like terms, 7z and 2z. Both of them are positive. So now what I need to do is take the terms that are like and combine those together. Notice, please, 5x combined together with nothing. There was no other term in the math expression that had an x. Now, when I write my final answer in the star, the 5x is in first. The reason for this is when I write a math expression in simplified and final form, the term or variable closest to the beginning of the alphabet needs to come first. It needs to be alphabetized. That's why I had to flip-flop those around. My second example, now what I end up having is I have four terms. My job in this problem is to identify which of these terms are like. Unlike my last example, I actually have two numbers here. Obviously, 3z and 6z are like terms, but also recognize that 7 and 2, both numbers without variables, are like terms as well. So now when I combine together the like terms, positive 3z and positive 6z make 9z, and 7 and 2 combine together to make 9. So my answer in the star is 9z plus 9. Also note, the term with a variable always comes before a term without a variable in a simplified math expression. Our third example requires us to use a technique and or property that we studied already in a previous section, that being the distributive property. The 3 in front of the set of parentheses means for me to take and multiply by both terms in the parenthesis, the y and the 2. After I do the distributive property, I end up getting 3y plus 6 and then plus 4y. Taking a look at my three terms in my expression, two of those are like, the positive 3y and positive 4y, add together to make 7y plus 6. And this is my final answer. This example here has a new wrinkle. This is the first time that we've seen one where we've had an exponent other than 1. The z's have a second power. Now, they're basically done the same way, but normally what I tell students how they simplify like terms with this. If you ever have a variable expression, and we have three terms in this expression that have no number in front, in math, we refer to a number in front of a variable term as a coefficient. If by some chance there is no number in front of your variables, you can simply rewrite it by slipping in a 1 in front of each and every one of those terms. It makes the math a little bit easier. Now, when I combine together my like terms, I can clearly see that two terms are similar, 1z to the second power and 1z to the second power. When you combine those terms together, you only add the coefficient in front. You only add the numbers in front of the variables. Nothing ever happens to the exponents. Like I tell my students all the time, when you combine together like terms, if you start with a term to the second power, in your answer you will also have a term to the second power. And last but not least, when I put this in my final form in my star, the term with the highest power needs to come first. It's just proper etiquette when you're simplifying a math expression. Our last example has two wrinkles. First off, not just do you have to do the distributive property once, you have to do it twice. And secondly, this is my first example up here where there's a minus sign. So now I have to engage my rules of integers. So now when I do the distributive property, 6 times 3 makes 18, and then 6 times y makes 6y, and then 2 times y makes 2y, and then 2 times a negative 2 made a minus 4, negative 4. Now when I combine my like terms together, a positive 6y and a positive 2y add together to make 8y, and a positive 18 and a minus 4, negative 4, combine together to make plus 14. Remember, it's just like adding and subtracting. Last but not least, this is my answer in my star. This will conclude our tutorial on like terms. I hope this mini lesson was both helpful, and informative.